Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Thank you for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music. Now let's get into some music news. Taylor Swift is using her voice to urge fans to self-isolate. Sunday, she posted on her social pages, "I love you guys so much and need to express my serious concern right now. I'm seeing lots of get-togethers and hangouts and parties still happening. This is the time to cancel plans, actually truly isolate as much as you can, and don't assume that because you don't feel sick that you aren't possibly passing something on to someone elderly or vulnerable at this time." So, will her fans listen? One fan responded, "Taylor Swift has spoken. Y'all need to listen up. We need to be vigilant and care for those more vulnerable, if not for ourselves. Hashtag stay home saves lives. Hashtag coronavirus." Many Latin artists, including Ricky Martin, Daddy Yankee, J Balvin, and others are using their platforms to encourage fans to stay home amid the coronavirus. Now, via Twitter, J Balvin said, "It's our responsibility to stay home and take care of each other. This too will pass." Via a video posted on Instagram, Ricky Martin asked his fans to please take responsible actions and stay at home, giving an example of close friends he has in China and Italy. Like wine, with time, Ricky just gets more and more handsome. Now, a conscious Daddy Yankee social distanced himself over the weekend by jumping on his boat and enjoying nature in Puerto Rico. Yeah, we're all, don't have that advantage, but it's a tough challenge, he says, the world is facing, but I know we will overcome it as the strong humans that we are. The iHeartRadio Music Awards is being postponed amid the coronavirus outbreak. Usher had been set to host the 7th annual award show, which was scheduled to air live on Fox on Sunday, March 29th from the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. However, the Shrine has announced it would be officially closed for events at least until March 31st, leading iHeartMedia to postpone the awards show. The safety of our guests, employees, artists, partners is our main priority. An iHeartMedia rep said in a statement, iHeartMedia and Fox will plan to reschedule at the appropriate time and will provide more information and relevant updates as they become available. Refunds are being issued to ticketed guests. With the nation on lockdown in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Neil Young and My Morning Jacket singer Jim James will take part in a digital rally for Democratic presidential candidate Senator Bernie Sanders on Monday night. The online-only Bernie 2020 digital rally, which will also feature Young's wife actress Daryl Hannah, and the Free Nationals, will take place from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sanders' site for the night before voters go to the polls in Arizona, Florida, Illinois, and Ohio. With Democratic candidates Sanders and former Vice President Joe Biden eschewing large public events due to fears over the spread of the virus, fans can watch the show from home. Young posted an enthusiastic endorsement of Sanders last week, joining the likes of Ariana Grande, Jack White, Vampire Weekend, The Strokes, Cardi B, Bon Iver, and I always think I mess up that name. I'm sure I mess up that name. Y'all know who I'm trying to say, and many others in supporting the Democratic Socialist candidate. Lin-Manuel Miranda posted a Periscope video to raise money for the Actors Fund and Broadway Cares on Sunday night. Yeah, we're staying home too. It's the same and it's a cool thing to do. Okay, apparently that's what he said. During the live stream, the Broadway vet performed a live rendition of My Shot from his smash 2015 Broadway musical Hamilton after encouraging people to stay home and wash their hands in the wake of the virus outbreak. Now, I actually was supposed to see Hamilton in Frisco, but now that's been canceled. Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, sparked fire even more when he unleashed his surprise effort, Donald Glover Presents, early Sunday morning. Now, while I was on set for a short film that I starred in this weekend, a friend shared a link on Facebook. So I'm waiting for the set to be shot up or the shot to be set up. And I'm like, oh snap, what? Donald Glover, click the link. There was nothing there. It just simply said Donald Glover Presents. It was like all white page and like gold letters. I responded, I'm like, is this a joke? Cause there's nothing here. And he was like, no, like it was streaming earlier. I heard 2 songs and then everything just disappeared. So, I just clicked the link again and it still doesn't work, but Billboard has information on what was there. And this is what they said. Despite the minimal effort, the music is anything but, boasting starry features, a refurbished Glover, and soothing production to aid people amidst the coronavirus chaos. By Childish Gambino, hello Donald Glover. If you recall, Gambino was set to axe his famous moniker after his headlining performance at the 2017's Governor's Ball. Following his win at the 2018 Grammy Awards, Gambino remained steadfast on his decision, saying, I stand by that. I'm making another project right now. I like endings. I think they are important to progress. Being a man of his word, it appears Gambino freed his rap name so that Donald Glover could flourish and prosper on his latest attempt. For Donald Glover Presents, though, there are traces of Gambino flowing throughout the project courtesy of his breezy croons. The 36-year-old hyphenate appears settled into his new role and adaptation of Donald Glover. The project only lives on DonaldGloverPresents.com. Is this an album? Is it a playlist? There's no indicated website. Their fans are met with a 4-panel sketch, which seemingly appears to be potential artwork for the project. I didn't see that there either. As of press time, Glover representatives did not respond to Billboard about whether the project will live on streaming services or if credits will soon be released. It definitely feels like summer for this time around. The last time we received a full album from Childish Gambino was 2016's acclaimed Awaken My Love. Dubbed a funk opus, DJ skated past conventionalism and rattled off a masterpiece laced with 70s anthems. This time around, the mood is vastly different as remnants of the 2018 single Feels Like Summer and Summertime Magic shaped the soundscape of the project. Though Glover's rapping is rare, he brilliantly navigates through the topics of trust and love with his fluid R&B presence. He reconnects with some familiar faces. Less is always more. And in the case of Glover, that sweet adage helps him deliver a home run of a project. Not only did he receive a concise 12 tracks, I didn't receive it, but apparently some people did. But DG also keeps the features to a minimum, enlisting only Ariana Grande, 21 Savage, and SZA. For fans, these collaborations come jam-packed with flavor and familiarity, considering Gambino has ties to each of the artists mentioned above. In 2014, DG and Grande paired up on the dynamic bop Break Your Heart Right, while Savage recruited the Lion King actor for his 2018 album, I Am, I Was. Though SZA and Glover never collaborated together up until now, DG did flaunt his acting prowess in the Singer's Garden video in 2018. She was also in his This Is America video. There are some tracks that we do already know. Along with Feels Like Summer, fans are greeted with previously released records such as Warlord and Algorithm. During his headlining set at 2019's Coachella, Glover first gifted fans to a performance of the former, while later dishing out the latter during his Google Pixel commercial. Didn't see that. One record that did miss the cut was Summertime Magic, which was released as a 2-pack with Feels Like Summer in 2018. All right, so hopefully you got to hear it. I sure didn't, so I'm really bummed about that. Kehlani's long-awaited sophomore album had the plug pulled temporarily due to the virus outbreak. She says, to be transparent, I had a release date. The All Me singer wrote on Twitter, we're unable to complete any of our plans or move forward with the album at the moment due to the pandemic. Not thinking about music at this moment, focused on how to just be a good citizen to society at this time. Stay safe, love. Hopefully, I mean, if she stopped it because, you know, the production wasn't finished, because I know a lot of things, like especially in film, a lot of things had just come to a halt. So if it's because of the production wasn't finished and people, like, all that just had to come to a halt, that makes sense. But if it's just because you're trying to focus on being a good citizen, like being a good citizen means giving us good music. Drop that music. I mean, if we're all going to be indoors, self-isolating, then we need something to listen to. Now, after Cardi B shared her thoughts on the virus pandemic in a series of Instagram PSAs, her fans quickly transformed them into an incredibly catchy song titled Cardi B Coronavirus. Shit is real remix. So they basically splice up Cardi's words. Government, government, government. You want to know something? I know shit is getting real into a mix that's ready for the clubs. And now the rapper is now thinking of making it official. She said, I might as well do a damn music video. In reaction to a video of the song playing in a Rio de Janeiro club, she says, I'm about to tell Atlantic to put this song on Spotify. And I highly encourage you to see these hilarious videos. There's two in particular that I saw on Twitter. One is a song and it's just like a bunch of twerking, like from Rihanna twerking to like people we don't know twerking. But the dopest one were these boys, like these teenage boys did some choreography and they have like the mask on. One starts coughing and he like fake passes out. It's pretty freaking funny. And the song, like, it legit is a bop. Like, you hear it, at least I hear it, and I can't stop dancing to it. My 2-year-old niece hears it and she gets her little Corona dance on too. But we're going to go ahead, take a break, and return with new music and festival news.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown. New album releases, Lil Uzi Vert, Eternal A Take Deluxe. It's basically another album. So now we have 2 for 1. Trolls World Tour soundtrack includes Justin Timberlake, Mary J. Blige, Anderson .Paak, Kelly Clarkson, and more. Rich the Kid, Boss Man, the long-awaited J Electronic, A Written Testimony, Don Toliver, Heaven or Hell, Pink, 2 Feet, and The Shire's Good Years. Hot new singles, Lil Uzi Vert, Myron, Lil Yachty, and The Baby, Oprah's Bank Account featuring Drake, J Electronica, Flux Capacitor featuring Jay-Z, J Electronica Blinding Lights featuring Travis Scott and Jay-Z, but he ain't giving Jay-Z feature credits. And I listened to part of the album. I haven't had time to get through all of it. Jay-Z's all over this album, but it doesn't say it. It's like, surprise, Jay-Z. Don Toliver, Cardigan, Ingrid Andres, Life of the Party, Niall Horan, Black and White, Chronix, Della Move, One Republic, Didn't I, Tyga and Megan Thee Stallion, Freak. On the tours and festival news, Elton John is the latest artist to put his touring plans on hold as the United States goes under lockdown in an attempt to fight the virus pandemic. On Monday, John announced that 17 of his upcoming Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour dates will be postponed until 2021. The shows from March 26th through May 2nd will be rescheduled for next year, while the currently scheduled shows from May 22nd to July 8th will go on as currently planned. Really though? I would pay attention to updates on that. Well, hopefully by the end of May, things will be figured out by then. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Frontman Dave Grohl announced that the Foo Fighters are postponing their Van Tour 2020. A few dates have already been rescheduled to later this year. Alanis Morissette will reschedule tour dates in Japan, Manila, Australia, and New Zealand. David Lee Roth has postponed the last 6 shows of his Las Vegas residency. March 15th through the 55th Annual Academy of Country Music Awards was announced on March 15th, but they're scheduled to take place on April 5th at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. That has been postponed to September, with a new date still to be confirmed. Long Beach Pride will postpone its festival and parade, which were set to take place May 15th through the 17th. Kelly Clarkson was scheduled to kick off her 2020 Las Vegas residency at Zappos Theater in Planet Hollywood on April 1st, but the songstress has postponed her shows to July. The Jonas Brothers canceled their April 1st through 18th Las Vegas residency at Park MGM. J. Cole's Dreamville Festival, initially slated for April 4th in Raleigh, North Carolina, has rescheduled its second annual event for August 29th. Tom York postponed the North American leg of his Tomorrow's Modern Box Tour. He has not announced rescheduled dates, but noted that they would be this year. Third Eye Blind rescheduled the second half of their tour in support of the new album Screamer, and also shared new dates, which resume May 31st in Los Angeles. David Archuleta postponed his OK Alright 2020 tour, but hopes to reschedule for later in the year. The Metropolitan Opera and Carnegie Hall orchestras canceled all rehearsals and performances through March 31st. And SiriusXM announced on Monday that it will be launching the Ultra, this is like a tongue twister for me, sorry. Ultra Virtual Audio Festival on UMF Radio starting this Friday. The limited run radio channel will feature exclusive DJ sets from artists who were set to take the stage at the now canceled Ultra Music Festival in Miami this weekend, including Armin van Buuren, Afrojack, Martin Garrix, Major Lazer, and more. That's pretty dope though. Let's take advantage of this technology during this time. So it says, with the postponement of beloved events, necessary changes in people's everyday life, and need for social distancing, we know our listeners are seeking a sense of community more than ever. This is what the president of SiriusXM and Chief Content Officer Scott Greenstein said in a statement. To encourage that, we are pleased to be working with Ultra Music Festival to provide our listeners with a virtual audio festival featuring the diverse lineup of artists the UMF delivers year after year, as well as exclusive fresh new sets from some of the biggest names in dance music. SiriusXM UMF Radio will also broadcast past live sets from previous years at Ultra Music Festival by the likes of the Chainsmokers, Kygo, Marshmello, with special guests Rowdy Rich, Zedd, and more. The Ultra... I'm sorry, I legit, when I was younger, had a speech impediment and I couldn't say my R's. So sometimes it gets tripped up when I have a lot of R's in a series to say. So yeah, that kind of trips me up. So I'm going to try it one more time. Ultra Virtual Audio Festival will air on Sirius Channel 52 from Friday, March 20th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time through Monday, March 23rd. Check out Sirius XM's official announcement. You can find that online if you are interested. The Mexican festival Vive Latino has no plans of shutting down this weekend, says Jordi Puig, Vive Latino founder and director. The long-running festival in Mexico City returns Saturday and Sunday, bringing together bands from around the world to 6 stages with attendance for each of the 2 days typically approaching 100,000. Headlining the festival this year is Guns N' Roses, but not every band is showing up, as some are canceling their turn at the iconic festival and making those announcements on social media. Yes, there will be some cancellations, but festivals are all about the experience, and for now, we're moving forward. Authorities, the Mexican government, are telling us that we are in phase 1 and that we can move forward, and that's what we're doing. So the festival is relaying key information through its social media platforms. Additionally, he says the venue is equipped with hand sanitizers throughout the Foro Sol, but the festival is taking place Saturday and Sunday without interruption. Just hours after the Australian government announced strict new rules applied to public gatherings and travel in the country, the Byron Bay Bluefest organizers officially canceled this year's event due to be held April 9th through the 13th. To everyone involved with Blues Fest, it's obvious we will not be on this Easter. Says a statement issued by Peter Noble, executive chairman of Bluefest Group of Companies. He says, "We are heartbroken as we believe we were presenting one of the best ever bills of talent for you. I was in discussion right through last week with every headliner. They all said they're coming as long as nothing occurred to prevent them from doing so. That is the level of commitment that our artists have, and I'm proud of that." Now on Friday, Lightning in a Bottle announced that its 2020 event is being postponed due to the virus. The festival was set to take place in Buena Vista Lake, California over Memorial Day weekend, May 20th through the 25th. Headliners included Kay Trotta, James Blake, Bortet, Sylvian Esso, and more. While not canceling outright, festival producers the Do Lab did not offer an alternative date for the event, stating, "We are unfortunately not able to provide further details on Lib's future status at this time." Now on to the top 10 songs played in the United States according to Apple Music. Lil Uzi Vert is holding down his spot at number 1, but this time with a new song, Myron. This is all about to be Lil Uzi Vert. So we got number 2, his Kobe song. Well, it's called Bean, but it's AKA Kobe featuring Chief Keef. Number 3 is Yaskursky featuring 21 Savage. Number 4, Rowdy Rich still in the top 10 with The Box. Number 5, it's all about to be Lil Uzi Vert again with Baby Pluto. Number 6, Lil Maine. Number 7 is Janae Akeo's What's Up featuring Future. And then we got number 8, Lil Uzi Vert, Lotus. Number 9, Lil Uzi Vert, Silly Watch. And number 10, Janae Akeo, BS featuring Her. Let's compare that to the top 10 songs played globally according to Apple Music. Number 1, Lil Uzi Vert, Myron. Number 2, Rowdy Rich, The Box. Number 3, Lil Uzi Vert, Bean. We got Lil Uzi Vert, number 4, Yaskursky. Number 5, Baby Pluto. Number 6, The Weeknd with Blinding Lights. Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Maine is number 7. Lil Uzi Vert, number 8 with Lotus. Lil Uzi Vert, number 9 with What's Up. And number 10, Future Life is Good. Still hanging in there. What have I been jamming? Nothing. I started my first short film this weekend, so I didn't have time to listen to any new music. So with that said, we'll take a break and return with music history with Soundgarden.
Searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching.
Hey!
The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. Now let's get into music history with Soundgarden according to allmusic.com. Soundgarden carved out a place for heavy metal and alternative rock. They were not the first band to draw upon the heavy, sludgy sounds of the 70s. The group picked up a thread left hanging by fellow Seattle rockers Green River, grunge pioneers who favored the scoozy rock of the Stooges, and they shared Jane's Addiction's love of grandiose heavy rock. Nevertheless, Soundgarden popularized metal within alternative rock, even obliterated the line separating the two subcultures, melding the slow grind of Black Sabbath, the cinematic scope of Led Zeppelin with DIY aesthetic of punk. Soundgarden played with the intelligence and ironic sense of humor that was indebted to the American underground of the mid-80s. Their music contained a similar sense of adventure, often taking detours into psychedelia, unconventional guitar tunings, and complicated time signatures. Vocalist Chris Cornell and guitarist Kim Thayil were excellent foils, with Cornell's powerful wail pushing against Thayil's winding riffs, a chemistry that gave the band a distinctive character that belonged neither to the mainstream nor the underground. This chemistry was evident from the band's start, when Soundgarden was one of the first groups to release a recording on Seattle's pioneering sub-pop label. Those early records built a considerable buzz, suggesting that Soundgarden would be the band that broke down the commercial doors of alternative rock. That didn't turn out to be the case. They were eclipsed by the metric success of Nirvana, a fellow Sub Pop alumni whose Nevermind became a blockbuster while Soundgarden was working on Bad Motor Finger in the fall of 1991. As it turns out, Soundgarden received a boost from grunge exploding in the mainstream. Super Unknown, their 1994 album, became an international smash, with hit singles Black Hole Sun becoming a standard of its era. The group didn't weather success well, disbanding after 1996 down on the upside, but their catalog endured, leading the band to reunite in 2010. Over the next few years, the group toured regularly, releasing a new album called King Animal in 2012, before Cornell died tragically in 2017. For a band so heavily identified with the Seattle scene, it's ironic that two of its founding members were from the Midwest, Kim Thayil, guitar, and Hiro Yamamoto, bass, and Bruce Pavat were all friends in Illinois who decided to head to Olympia, Washington to attend college after high school graduation in 1981. Though none of them completed college, all of them became involved in the Washington underground music scene. Pavitt was the only one who didn't play. He founded a fanzine that later became the Sub Pop record label. Yamamoto played in several cover bands before forming a band in 1984 with his roommate Chris Cornell, vocals, a Seattle native who had previously played drums in several bands. Thayil soon joined the duo, and the group named itself Soundgarden after a local Seattle sculpture. Scott Sundquist was originally the band's drummer, but was replaced by Matt Cameron in 1986. Over the next 2 years, Soundgarden gradually built up a devoted cult following through their club performances. Pavitt signed Soundgarden to his fledgling sub-pop label in the summer of 1987, releasing the single Hunted Down before the EP Screaming Life appeared later in the years. Screaming Life and the group's second EP, 1988's FOP, that's F-O-P-P, became underground hits and earned the attention of several major labels. The band decided to sign to SST instead of a major, releasing Ultra Mega OK by the end of 1988. Ultra Mega OK received strong reviews among alternative and metal publications, and the group decided to make the leap to a major for its next album, 1989's Louder Than Love. Released on A&M Records, Louder Than Love became a word-of-mouth hit, earning positive reviews from mainstream publications, peaking at 108 on the charts and earning a Grammy nomination following the album's fall 1989 release. Yamamoto left the band to return to school. Jason Everman, a former guitarist for Nirvana, briefly played with the band before Ben Shepherd joined in early 1990. Soundgarden's third album, 1991's Bad Motorfinger, was heavily anticipated by many industry observers as a potential breakout hit. Though it was a significant hit, reaching number 39 on the album charts, its success was overshadowed by the surprise success of Nirvana's Nevermind, which was released that same month as Bad Motorfinger. Prior to Nevermind, Soundgarden had been marketed by A&M's as a metal band, and the group had agreed to support Guns N' Roses on the fall 1991 Lose Your Illusion tour. While the tour did help sales, Soundgarden benefited primarily from the grunge explosion, whose media attention helped turn the band into stars. The band was also helped by the top 10 success of Temple of the Dog, a tribute to deceased Mother of Love, a Bone singer Andrew Wood, that Cornell and Cameron recorded with members of Pearl Jam. By the spring release of 1994's Super Unknown, Soundgarden's following had grown considerably, which meant that the album debuted at number 1 upon its release. A year before its release, Shepherd and Cameron released an eponymous album by their side project called Hater. Super Unknown became one of the most popular records of 1994, generating a genuine crossover hit with Black Hole Sun, selling over 3 million crossover hits with Black Hole Sun and earning 2 Grammys. Soundgarden returned in 1996 with Down on the Upside, which entered the charts at number 2. Despite the record's strong initial sales, it failed to generate a big hit and was hurt by grunge's fading popularity. Soundgarden retained a sizable audience. The album did go platinum, and they were co-headliners in the 6th Lollapalooza, but they didn't replicate the blockbuster success of Super Unknown. I guess because they weren't unknown anymore. No, I don't know. After completing an American tour following Lollapalooza that was plagued by rumors of internal fighting, Soundgarden announced that they were breaking up on April 9th, 1997 to pursue other interests. During the late 90s and 2000s, each member kept very busy. Cornell released 3 solo albums, also recording and touring as Audioslave with former members of Rage Against the Machine. Cameron toured with Well Water Conspiracy Project and also played and recorded with Smashing Pumpkins and Pearl Jam. Thile collaborated with a wide range of artists including Cameron, Dave Grohl, Steve Fisk, and Boris. Meanwhile, Shepherd helped out with Well Water Conspiracy and also played and recorded with Mark Langan of Screaming Trees. Finally, in 2010, the band announced a reunion with a few live shows during the summer, including that year's edition of Lollapalooza, which preceded a compilation, Telephantism? I don't know how you say that. Telephantasm in the fall. That album was initially available as a double disc set on September 28th, with a single disc version appearing a week later. The single disc was also included in Guitar Hero on September 28th. In 2011, Soundgarden released their first live album, Live on I-5, which featured material recorded during the band's supporting tour of Down on the Upside. All of this activity would be the prelude to Soundgarden's full-on return in 2012, when they released their sixth album, King Animal, in the fall of that year. King Animal debuted at 5 of the Billboard's top 200 upon its November 2012 release, and the band supported it throughout the next year with a tour. Matt Cameron took a hiatus from the band in November 2013 due to the commitments with Pearl Jam. Former Pearl Jam drummer Matt Chamberlain replaced him for live dates in 2014. That year, Soundgarden celebrated the 25th anniversary of Super Unknown with the release of 2 deluxe editions of 1991 album, a double disc set, and 7-disc Super Deluxe box set. During 2015, Chris Cornell mentioned that Soundgarden had started working on material for a new studio set, and the band made it official in 2016, announcing that they were beginning to record an album. In the meantime, the band released a deluxe reissue of Ultra Omega OK in March of 2017 and began an American tour that April. On May 17th, following the band's concert at Detroit's Fox Theater, Cornell was found dead in his hotel room. He had taken his own life at the age of 52. That still gets me. And that's crazy now, like reading all the stuff that he had going on during that time. It wasn't like he was just sitting around not making music and didn't have things, scheduled to release. In the wake of Cornell's death, the surviving members of Soundgarden took time to regroup. In an October 2018 interview, Thiel suggested that the remaining trio would retire the Soundgarden name, but perhaps work together in some capacity. The 3 did perform at Chris Cornell's tribute concert in January 2019, a show where vocals were handled by several singers, including Brandi Carlile, Taylor Monson, and Taylor Hawkins. In July 2019, the band released their first posthumous record, the double album Live from the Artist's Den, which captured the concert from 2013. So I was an Audioslave fan solely because of Chris Cornell's voice. So I was late to the party. I didn't really get into Audioslave till like 2002, 2003. But I'm glad I was at least able to know of him for some years before he passed. It's just always sad when I hear about artists passing, especially when they take their own life. So that's Soundgarden, y'all. For me, that was a lesson because, like I said, I knew him from Audioslave. I didn't know the history of Soundgarden. So I hope y'all learned something like me. And if you didn't learn anything, hopefully you just appreciated the rundown. So I definitely appreciate your time, and I thank you for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Until next time, I'm Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.